Hello.
Hello, hello.
Happy Sunday, or whenever you're watching this, and welcome to a very special Sunday sermon, a very special sermon. This is not going to be kind of our average. So if you guys are brand new to us anyway, I'm Dov.
I'm Nicole.
And we are transformational coaches and mentors. And when you mix those together, that's
we're
what
transdimensional.
we are. And you know, we're so excited. If you have not seen one of our sermons before, this will not be the same, but we do like to come into the space with you guys and channel information, connect to really important topics. And right now there is so much to talk about, but what's going to make this sermon different today is that this is going to be more like a free workshop or clearing or course that we're going to do together, because not only we're going to talk about and activate and bring to light subjects and solutions, but we're also going to be doing ancestral clearing work and collective clearing work for what is going on right now. We just feel that these times are in so much need of that.
Yes.
We wanted to come together.
Yes.
So you are an integral part of this. That means that if you're watching this right now, I hope that you have the space and time to watch all the way through to the end so that we can do this work
Mom.
together. And I am going to ask that if you are watching this, that you share this right now. So if you know us, you can just share right away. What's going to come through is going to be powerful. And as you're watching this, just kind of remind, if you haven't shared it, to maybe tag a friend or go ahead and share the message so that we can get as many of us on here together at once. There is absolutely power in numbers.
Yes.
The frequency impact changes, and it is why we wanted to get on here with you guys and just kind of jump into this space. It's so important.
You have been preparing for this moment, for this lifetime, for millennia, for so long, for so many lifetimes. You are ancient. You are pillars of light. You are pillars of light. I want to remind you of how powerful you are. Actually, before we got on here, I was very nervous, and my wife stood by me and looked at me and she's like, you know who you are. I want to remind you who you are. You're this big being that saves people when you're helps people when you're at your lowest. And she was getting me all pumped up, and I wanted to remind you in this time how powerful you are. And I remember when I was a little kid, and I remember learning that when so much love frequency was going to hit this planet, when Christ conscious love was going to hit this planet, we were going to have a new earth experience. I remember being told that darkness was going to play not fair, that darkness was going to play rough, that it was going to get pretty chaotic, that the father of lies was going to be playing in these realms, and it was going to get ugly. And so I'm reminded, right, almost like that just hit me and reminded me that we are at that time.
Yes.
And what that means is we're about to have such a beautiful shift, and we have been having a beautiful shift that you guys have been actively participating in. You guys have actively been participating in doing the work to house the beautiful love frequency, this frequency that is epic, this frequency that can overturn anything that is dark, that can overturn anything that is wrong, that is not in alignment with our planet, in alignment with our true nature.
Amen. Ooh, and I see you guys are coming on, right? So if you're watching this on the replay, it's amazing. If you're watching this on YouTube, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're watching this live on Facebook, welcome again. Make sure that you are on all the platforms and able to get all the information as much as you're able. And if you're new to us, we're welcoming you again.
Yes.
If this is valuable information for you, please follow it and subscribe.
And if you're feeling it thus far, share it right now.
Yeah,
Let's get as many people as we can on it so that we can shift the frequency together.
Definitely.
Big love.
Share this however it resonates for you. Tag people, comment below, and so on. So what we're going to do right off the bat is we're going to create some sacred space here.
Do it, baby. Okay? Do it.
It is so important with the magnitude of what we are doing today in this space and with the magnitude of the messaging that is coming through that we're able to just get the energy right. And if you guys are new, right, we are non-denominational. We'll be using all sorts of different ancient wisdom. Nicole and I tap into really the ancient mystery school wisdom that comes from before the time of our consciousness, and really bringing those truths and those activations in the space with you. So you will have activation just from being in the space with us, right? And we are bringing that oldest truth. It is time for us in these times to go back to the most ancient truth and the most connected space of love and consciousness, so that we're really able to have
where there's no separation, baby, where there's no separation.
Yeah, so we need a wake-up call, and we need to understand it on a multidimensional level. So before we go into that space, I'm just going to allow you to take some deep breaths. Feel yourself just present and grounded here.
If you need to make some noise as you're breathing out, exhaling all the
and be present with yourselves for a moment, right? So pause in the commenting. Right? I'm not looking right now, my eyes are closed, but just allowing you to really come internal. Letting go, divorcing self from ego for this moment in time while we're doing this work. And really asking for your mind's flexibility, your spirit's deep connection and communication with the self. This is a time that we have to be very flexible. What we're creating right now is some safe and sacred space. That means any energy that is here to create distortion or manipulation is disinvited from this space in this moment. We're asking for all of your devices to be cleared and allow this information and the vibration to come through at the most pure level of love and truth, allowing us all to be able to hear, clearing any aspect of yourself that doesn't want to hear in this moment, any parts that are resistant. We release shame and guilt. We'll talk about that later, but allowing you to not come into the space with shame and guilt, because from shame and guilt, we cannot hear, we cannot actually create change. So allowing ourselves to be in a fluid and flexible space for change, and we allow for this change that we will create together in this space and in this sermon together today, to be able to encircle and encompass the earth for all those who are willing and wanting. May we unplug from negative grids of manipulation, energy of distortion, so that we can hear and connect all of you to your high selves. We're asking for your warrior selves to all be present.
Yes,
we were working within a special group of our leaders yesterday, and these warrior selves presented, and so I activate that within all of you as well who are willing, seeing these energies by your side like almost angelic guides, but they are parts of yourself, having angelic guides in your field around you and creating a protection, unplugging everyone from all others and from the collective consciousness so that you can be present in your own space for this time today. Creating safety and protection. Archangel Michael. Okay, thank you.
I just want to remind you guys, you have connection. If you didn't think of this today, that you don't have to do this alone, and God loves you, and that presence of God is with us today, and your heart can be filled right now, and allow yourself to release all the woes, release all the doubt, release all this that we are hopeless, release all that stuff right now in the presence of Creator, that is all love, that is all love, that is all knowing, that is all wisdom, that is all that we have connection to from your heart to the divine. You have connection today to epically shift whatever is necessary. So before even Dov gets into it, set your intention right now of what you would like to receive, shift, change, be in this moment.
Oh, I have the chills. I can feel all of you guys, those that are also watching this on the replay or on other platforms, just feeling how we're all connected in this moment really, really, really deeply. How the illusion of time, that we're not all here at the same time, is absolutely not real. Feeling our interconnectedness, right? There is so much interconnectedness. And I'll keep reminding you guys to share this as we're going through, making sure that as many of us can connect as possible. I want to take a moment to recognize, and before I say that, what Nicole said was so profound. You are not alone, and you're not designed, and I don't mean not alone like we're here together, because we are, but I mean you're not alone in this universe, and you can look to God, to source, to creator, whatever you are comfortable with, and you can put down that weight in front of that energy, in front of your creator, the mother, the father, and say, I can't hold this. I don't know how to hold this. And I have had to do that almost every day. I do not know how to hold the grief and the injustice that we've experienced on this planet, and that injustice is not just what we see in the manifest, but in the unmanifest. And
Yes.
it is so big, and it is so big, and you are not only going through what is happening in the collective right now, you are also going through what is happening in your own life. You might have losses, divorce, difficulties with relationship, your children, addiction, mental illness.
Yes.
There is so much that you are holding, and I can feel that grief within me, and I want to say that you do not have to hold it all alone, and you do not have to hold it all in your body. You can surrender it, you can put it down, you can let us hold it together. You know, and that leads me to where I want to really truly take a moment of pause. This world does not know the practice of grieving. It does not know how to witness each other's grieving. It does not know how to see and hear grieving without trying to interrupt it. We do not know how to express our grieving. And so there are millions and millions of beings on this planet right now, and Black brothers and sisters, and those that are also grieving, that are white and that are brown and that are mixed and are sitting in this space, and the grief is deep. And the injustice is raw, and the pain is challenging, and there is so much in that space, and we are multidimensional. And so I don't want to bypass the grief of the three-dimensional reality right now. And I really want to honor that sacred rage that people are discussing. And really what they're talking about is having sacredness to releasing grief. And that's very important, because when we are not sacred in our release of grief, it becomes violence, and it becomes attack, and it becomes curses, and it becomes energy that we place on other people. But when it is sacred, we respect it, and we honor it, and we understand, and we don't try to stop it, and we witness it, and we get it, and we do not let people commodify that. So there's something very difficult that is happening in this time, and you have heard us talk about, and we will talk about, how this is spiritual warfare that is happening right now. Because we see things on a three-dimensional level, but it is biblically and non-biblically, right? Again, we are non-denominational, but there are philosophies and scriptures and channels and messages and understandings aplenty from much older times where we have been divided, and our pain and our abuse has been manipulated so that we can act in the very ways that those beings or people with intentions that are not so beautiful want us to feel hate for each other, to feel anger for each other, to perpetuate the very thing that made us be penalized or persecuted, to be manipulated because we were in our pain body. What happens when we go into our pain body? What happens when you feel physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual pain? What happens is your world becomes tiny. Your perspective becomes tiny. And in that pain, we are more willing to be reactive. And we lose our higher self perspective. And in those moments, it is easy to get us to react, and it is easy to manipulate us by just saying the thing that maybe seems kind of sexy or good when it might not be that solution. And so what I want to say is that the change is a revolution of consciousness, and that change has to come from inside of us. And when that change comes from inside of us, and this applies to everything you could be thinking of, or anything that we could be going through as a world and as a planet, it has to come from inside of us, because when it doesn't come from inside of us, we do not have the ability to create external change, not radical external change, because the frequency that we exist in will remain the same.
Oh my God, yes, the war that we are is not of flesh and blood. It's not your brothers and sisters. Although there are some dark energies that live and are housed in some human form, which are being uncovered and being dealt with as we speak. I just want you to know everything is being dealt with, right? For things, for in my own existence, when we talk about our own shift and change, for me to change, my God had to illuminate things in my life. I had to become conscious of the problems in my life. It's the way change is. We illuminate the dark things. We illuminate the things that aren't working for us so that maybe we can eliminate them, or maybe we can deal with them, or maybe we can heal them, or maybe we can bring love. We always bring love into them. Amen. And so right now, things are being uncovered. But the war is not against each other, right? There are energies, there are principalities that would love us to hate each other, would love us to destroy one another, would love us to war against one another. Because when we're in that state, we are in shame and guilt, we are in confusion, we do not see things as they really are. We become blind, we become sheep. And there's many times where even now, sometimes I go blind. I get really caught up in the frequency of the energy of the hatred. I get caught up in that frequency. And when we dip into that lower frequency, we can't see 20/20 vision. We can't see higher realm. Yes. We can't look at it from the truth. If you guys are watching it right now, you're being asked to look at it from a higher perspective. You're being asked you're being asked to open your heart right now. You're being asked to kick and scream and grieve like we were talking about. Grieve your ass off so you can come back to a place of love. And love will let you see it like it really is.
Yes.
And that's when shift happens. That's when change happens.
Yes.
That's when we break free of looping. That's when we break free of that.
Ooh, because guess what, guys? Your world within you, it's governed by this mind. It's governed by the subconscious. It's governed by what you are being fed by the world. It is governed by your level of connection to source. And the thing is that what we can attain in the world outside of us, it has to come from what we are able to attain within us. We need to access integrity.
Yes.
And we're actually going to read the definition of integrity.
I want you to hear this. Integrity. The quality or state of being complete, unbroken condition, wholeness, entirety. The quality or state of being unimpaired, perfect condition, soundness. The quality or state of being of sound moral principle, uprightness, honesty, and sincerity. And so we're thinking about, if you think about the quality of like a car, right? The integrity of a car, right? You got four wheels, you got the engine, you got all the things. If you pull a wheel off or you pull something out, the integrity of the car, it doesn't work correctly, right? We want to work correctly right now. When we are in integrity of our spirit and divine nature, when we are in integrity of this being honest with ourselves and each other, being honest of our past, and we're going to do some work around ancestry. Being honest about the past, not bypassing, not looking away any longer. Also seeing how there's dark energies that are manipulating and trying to control in the grievance of our brothers and sisters, using it against you. To keep us separate. We have to see it all, right? I always say you got to see it to free it. We have to see it all. Integrity of honesty and authenticity within ourselves.
Amen.
So that you can be whole, that you can be sound, that Dove can be sound and whole, that I can be sound and whole. Because what happens when you're sound and whole? You are powerful. When you're in integrity, we are powerful. Yes. When we are in integrity, we are connected. When we are in integrity,
yes.
we are not able to be manipulated or controlled.
Yes.
We are in sovereignty. The word sovereignty, your free will, the only way it can be at its full power is when there is integrity of that sovereignty. You're being asked to take back your sovereignty, to take back the love that you are, the compassion. You're being asked to rise above your brothers and sisters. You're being asked to actually rise above people right now so that you can be in your sovereign self. You're being asked to take the high road right now. You're being asked to be love in a time right now where it is cray-cray out there, right? You're being asked to be that because the frequency of that, the frequency of this integrity that we're talking about, it's such a high frequency that when there's other frequencies that are low, they're not going to be able to stand or withstand that frequency. It starts to shift. It starts to mutate. It starts to change. We will change. We will change.
Ooh. When I think about this integrity, it makes me really ask myself and ask you to take inventory, to look inside of yourself. It is so easy for us to try to create external solutions from an unintegral center.
Oosh.
Hear me out. We're trying to build a house with missing pieces. Those missing pieces are within each of us. We're trying to set a floor or a foundation that's going to build a different world, that is going to build a different house with a different consciousness and a different way of looking at one another, but yet that hasn't changed within us.
Wow. Sorry. Whew.
When we look at the need for this earth to change in many ways, when we look at the need to change our structure, something that I understand a lot is the criminal justice system, for instance. When we look at the need to change the criminal justice system, when we look at the need to change the way that we relate to each other, when we look at the need to change the way we relate to the planet, the thing is that all of those things are symptomatic, and I've spoken about this before, and I'm going to speak about it again, because the thing is that it's not a hypothesis or a theory that we could maybe apply if we want to. The thing is that history has shown us and shown us and shown us and shown us that if we do not change internally, and if we do not take an assessment, and if we do not understand these principles, that we have found ways to manipulate and say, well, don't pay attention to that. We can't measure that with science. Don't pay attention to that. We can't understand that. Don't pay attention to that. It's New Age. The thing is, we're talking about the ancient understanding of how we exist in order of the universal principles of this place. Could you imagine if I told you that it would make sense for us to live here without the concept or even the respect to the idea of gravity? Everybody would say to me, no. Gravity is scientific. Gravity is reality. Gravity is the thing we live in. And so too are the universal principles that we exist in. So too is the truth of the fact that everything within you is manifesting the world outside of you. If we cannot learn this, the change will only be as fast as our understanding of this concept. So does this mean that we don't need to change our three-dimensional world? Does that mean we just get to stay up in the fifth dimensional ether and say, we're all one? No, we don't get to only do that, because that isn't the truth. But what we actually, because we only are one at the higher levels, we have created a world that isn't one. But why? We've created a world that doesn't represent oneness, because the frequency and the thoughts and the ideas that we have decided to plant in our minds have grown a perversion and a reality that isn't that. That isn't that. Which means that if we really want change and we've really had enough of that, then we have to till the soil of our mind and our soul, and we have to investigate where those things exist within us. Where within you do you breed and grow and till the space for that which you do not like in this world? Where do you access and multiply and breed the ideas and attach to the premises that you don't wish to attach to anymore? Where do you feel like an oppressor? Where do you feel like a victim? Where do you feel anger and hatred? Not the kind of anger that just needs to be released, but where do you really feel hatred? Where do you feel fear for what you don't understand? Where do you feel the desire to attack so that you don't have to be flexible? Where do you feel a lack of care, a lack of compassion, And if we're honest with ourselves, it's not about what you're doing right, because you are doing a lot right.
You are.
It's about what we are not whole and complete with.
Yes.
Because we can't access, attain, or create that which we don't possess. We cannot access, attain, or create that which we don't possess.
Yes.
Tell me if you know what I'm talking about. Tell me if this is making sense for you. Say amen in the comments.
Yes,
make sure this video is being
aho.
shared. Aho, right?
Hashtag it.
Resonating. You're getting it. This is not theory that doesn't, this is test it out. Do your homework. Look at the world. Look at the world. Look with your eyes at what we are creating. We are creating it. And we have been taught that we are powerless. So we see the world outside of us. And we have been taught that it's too much responsibility. So we don't want to feel responsible for our world. So we want to look away. And here's the thing. Why do Nicole and I always talk about shame and guilt? We always talk about shame and guilt because here's the thing. If you shame yourself, you can't change yourself. You can't. You can't. I had posted something that was a little incomplete on my personal page about a month ago or a couple weeks ago. Time is melting. And I said, we can't shame people to action, so let's inspire them. That wasn't totally true. We can shame you into action. What we can't do is shame people into change. You can't shame yourself into change. We can shame you into action. What you're really doing is acting. You're not really authentic. You're not really authentically getting that transformation.
Yes.
So if you're wanting to change and you're taking your inventory in this moment or later on after you've seen this video, or you want the world to change, well, the thing is, we have to have the courage and the safety to do that. We have to have the safety to do that. We have to say, I didn't know, right? There's a quote by Maya Angelou that I love so much, right? I'm not going to quote it properly, but what she's really saying is, you do what you can to the point that you know. And then when you know more, you do better.
Yes.
Right? My favorite quote of all time, consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. What was meant by that quote? Consistency is the hobgoblin of little minds. The idea that if we can't change our mind, and I'm going to tell you right now that each and every one of you, each being has the ability to change. Even those that are designed to create chaos, always, with the mercy of this God, the mercy of the universe, always have the ability, because they have the free will, to say, I turn my will back to love. Change is an infinite constant.
Yes.
And there is so much programming. Take some inventory, because I'm asking you guys to question right now. Right now is the time of questioning. Take inventory of how many times a day you are programmed at the idea that you can't change. I've had clients come to me and say, my therapist let me know I can't change. People don't change.
Scholars tell you. People don't change. They don't change. You are just this way. I am sorry. I will never agree with that concept, because I watch you change already since we've been in this sermon together. You are already different. Yes. And if you don't believe that you are different, tell me something. Let's talk about oxymorons. Let's talk about idiosyncrasies that the brain just kind of goes against itself. Tell me, I love logic. I'll never leave logic. Spirituality does not have any divorce from logic. Tell me, is it logical to say I want to see change in this world, but we can't change? Does that make sense? Is that the ultimate trap of disempowerment? I want to see change. We have to change. We have to change our structure. We have to change how we look at each other. We have to change racism. We have to change the way we treat the environment. All our systems need to
change.
We
have to change. We have to change our way of policing. We have to change. Good. Okay, maybe we do. And then you're being told at the exact same time that you don't change, that we won't change, that change is not possible, that you're born this way, or that you will stay this way, or that you are this way because of your ancestry. Take that hard inventory. Maybe so, right? We do as good until we know better.
Yes.
And now we're starting to know better. Because with a lack of shame and guilt and a space of creativity and a space of love and a space of compassion that you have to start to have for yourself, you can change.
Yes.
You can look at the world different. And there's an example that feels poignant to the time right now that I want to give you. And I'll be vulnerable. I didn't have the time or ability to access the concept of white privilege because my skin appears white. I've had my own share of discrimination, but it isn't the same as experiencing myself as a Black woman in the world, in America. And so I present that way, so I get treated as I'm white. That allows me to have that privilege. And when that concept started to become promoted in a way, and has been for a long time actually, in a very shameful way, that we should repent and shame for that and all of those things, then we don't want to dive into it. And when everything started to break down, I went face against any resistance within myself and said, I have to investigate this within myself. I really have to investigate this within myself. So I created safety for me. I said, no shame, just access, just inventory.
Yes.
Just looking. That allowed me to see, wow, I really get that I don't have this experience. Yes. I really get that I don't have to, think about the concept of racism for 2 months at a time. I really get that for the most part, right? There are times and there are reasons that I sometimes get looks or people are scared to be around me or whatever it is, right? But for the most part, I have a great deal of privilege in that. And I was able to access that because I didn't create that shame. And that's just an example. And it's an example that I think is relevant to where we are right now in the world. But there are many examples of the fact that we won't even access our own internal change because of that shame that we want to even pose upon ourselves. We get rewarded with shame. Do you know that? Your frontal cortex, it tells you cookie. Good job. It does.
It does.
Talked about this. Your brain actually tells you that when you
yummy hormone blasts.
When you shame yourself, it's a reward. It actually registers as a reward.
Yes.
So your brain is becoming addicted to this idea of shaming yourself. And so the world is happy to shame you.
Yes.
So that's pretty easy to have that come in at you.
I just want to add a little piece to that. As within, so without. We're talking about that really strongly right now. The only way we're really capable of shaming one another or attacking one another or hating one another is because we hate ourselves.
Yes.
We attack ourselves.
Yes.
We are unworthy. We do not love ourselves the way that Creator loves us, God loves us. We are doing that to ourselves. And when you do that to somebody else, energetically, you're getting smacked in the face with it. So I just want you to know that that is a place. When we're talking about all this stuff, this is the place that we get to start.
Yes.
Is loving thyself, loving each other, really, really feeling into what that looks like. Giving your time space of safety, right? Yes. Giving others time, to talk to you, listening to one another. Oh my God, the greatest gift you could give a friend or a lover or a family member is to listen, to focus and listen, because all of us want to be seen and heard. And people are struggling right now because they are not seen and heard. And when people are not seen and heard, we will act out. We will do things. There are things happening right now because of that not being seen or heard. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. I'm saying it's happening because we are not listening. Oh, if we learn to listen. I remember when I started to listen to this beautiful thing, this beautiful woman. And I started to listen more to myself, and then I was listening, and when I was more present. I was present with her, then I was present with myself. And it simultaneously started to love her more, love me more, simultaneously connect more with God. There was something happening with me, right? When I started to say no to people, when they asked me to do things I didn't want to do, right? Or say no to her. I really don't want to do that right now. I don't have the energy to do that. And she would start to respond cool, when you're ready, let's do that. All of a sudden something like little checkpoints hit. Boom, more or less self-love. Because you can't actually be in it if you don't have it, right? You can't actually walk in it if you're not being it. So once you start being it, you can start to walk in it.
Yes.
And when you're walking in that love, that self-love, I promise you, people notice it. When I walk into a room and I love myself, the whole room turns around. I'm not being like, oh, I got a big head. I'm telling you, I watch people that and I know that it's my frequency. It's my love for myself. People notice our love for each other. It is witnessed. People, you guys say it all the time. Oh my God, the way you look at each other. Because we really love each other. And when I talk about love, I'm not talking about this floofy word love. I'm talking about love, the frequency of love, right? That would go to hell for each other, right? That would really like go there for one another. That would lose sleep over each other for one another, right? That would listen. That would give time to your friendships. Give time to those that really need you right now. Giving time to yourself and each other.
You know, I heard some of you say, and what I mean by that, if some of you guys are new, is that both Nicole and I are also very highly intuitive and pick up on what's going on energetically. And I heard some of you guys say like, but I don't know what to do. But I'm powerless. This stuff is so big, but I'm powerless. Let's come back for a second to this concept of frequency, energy, and creation as within, so without. What does that even mean? We say that people say that all the time. As within you, as without. What does that mean? But here's the thing. You have control over what is in your belief system. You have control about what is in your mind. You have control about what your mind connects to. And everything outside of you is a creation of the mind. So you have so much power. You have so much ability to change this world. But it can't happen without the inventory of our internal self. And it can't happen if it's not a revolution of our consciousness. It's time for that. There is no other solution for the radical change that some of us are desiring.
Do you want to read this?
We've talked about it a bit.
Okay.
We can do it. There's a little chapter, we also pull from different sacred texts and scriptures and things, and so that's what we were just discussing. But I think that we've really covered this piece. And so what I want to do is I want to talk to you guys. I want to move into some ancestral clearing and some work. And so I want you guys to take some deep breaths. And we're going to talk some more about some of these subjects, and we're going to do some energy work, and we're going to do some ancestral clearing, and you can do it on behalf of yourself and your lineage. So this is for many, 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 many people. We're going to unhook from many, many, many people right now. So I'm going to ask you again at this point, if you haven't shared this video, please do that. If you haven't tagged people in this video or shared it within a group that is make sure that that's absolutely okay with that group. Maybe it's your group. Please do that so that we can come together right now. And doing this, if you're watching this on the replay, it's fine. Continue to share it so that we can do as much of this as possible. And Nicole touched on this really important subject of love as a frequency. Do not, please, heed my warning. There is so much below what I am saying. This is not a war against love. The moment that we say love has nothing to do with this, love isn't a solution to this, we're in trouble. Because love is a frequency. And I will tell you from experience that love, as Nicole said, it can go to the lowest of low places, and that it is the protection, the solution, and the resolution of any and everything.
Yes.
And if our frequency point, we talked about creating from a place, if our frequency point does not create from love, then the result will not be love. So if we create from fear, we will also get a resonant response that isn't what we want. If we start to destruct particular systems that are in our world right now and reconstruct them from fear or from anger, you will not be able to tell me that it wasn't from the same frequency that they were created originally. The control systems that we have and those systems that we exist in within the United States, and I'll speak to that because I'm more familiar, our criminal justice system, our police system, etc. Those energies are being combated at the moment. Those structures, I should say, are being combated because of the understanding and the claims that they were created from fear and anger, from fear and hatred, right? Discrimination was born from fear, was born from manipulation, was born from distortion, was born from the desire to make us see ourselves as separate, was certainly not born from the frequency of love. No. So if what we do is recreate from an energy that is identical to the energy that it was already created, we won't have a solution. We might have something that looks a little different, but then it's still perpetuated by people and people that might be holding the same frequency. So this is not a war against love. Do not allow it to be that way. If you see people post things about love, if you see people remind us of those ascended masters and those pioneers of our time or past times that are reminding us the solution in their own words is love, protect that.
Yes.
Hold that sacred. Bring that into your advocacy. Bring that into your work. If you guys are on the front lines of creating three-dimensional structure, bring that in. Understand that. This is something that we all need to hold. This is no longer, oh, spiritual people get this message and non-spiritual people don't get this message. The revolution is that we all get this message. The revolution is that our politicians get this message.
Yes.
The revolution is that our CEOs get this message. The revolution is that the people that are within the systems and creating the systems get this message. Do you understand? Do you feel what I'm saying?
Babies get this message.
That our babies get this message.
The generations that are very small, that are watching, they're watching us, right? And when we think about children, and you guys are in a massive rebirth of consciousness. So we're all a bunch of babies. We're like spiritual, beautiful babies.
Yeah.
They need to be loved. We don't like tell like little babies. I mean, maybe some of us were brought up that way where we're like beat up, but like, you know, you guys that are watching this right now, you want to love that child. You want to bring them up in a world where there is love and heavens on earth and that there's hope, that there's, you can actually create what you want to create in your life, that you can have abundance, that they're watching.
Yes. And guess what? Guess what? This isn't just good words. This is not just for you to listen to and put this down and forget that you watched this sermon. This is about integration into action.
Yes.
This is about walking these principles.
Come
we
on.
have the information.
Yes.
We have the information that we need. There are people that have spoken from the beginning of time about principles that we can access. Here's the thing. We say, well, people didn't figure it out. Well, maybe they did. Maybe they channeled those messages over and over and over again. And Nicole and I are channeling this message for you. But here is what happens, is that if we don't walk it, if we don't integrate it, if we don't practice it, it's like a yoga, right? It's like a yoga practice. If I tell you, here's the pose, this is what the pose looks like. And then I come to you in 3 months. I say, how's it going? Well, I know the pose. And you repeat it back to me. This is what the pose looks like. Have you gotten stronger? Have you gone deeper? Have you stretched further? No, you didn't practice it for the last 3 months. You just remembered what I said. It's time for us to take what we know or we were saying or we are learning and integrate it into a way of life, integrate it into a practice, assimilate it into our being.
And you know what you get from that practice? This practice of being in integrity, this practice of being in alignment and treating yourself like you are the most precious gem that's ever been created. Do you know what you get from that? Being love in the face of all of this like chaos? You get freedom. You get peace. You get joy. You get to have beautiful relationships. You get to create abundance in your life.
Yes.
You get to create beautiful relationships and beautiful romances, or romance, sorry. I'm like, go get crazy out there. No. Get wild with your freaky self. You gotta bring some laughter into this. I got myself that time.
It's good. Woo! Raise that vibration.
You get laughter. You get joy.
We deserve to laugh.
But like Nicole just said, get freaky with everybody. No, I didn't say that.
You know what we deserve? To remember the beauty of each other and ourselves in the world and why we're doing what we're doing. Like, remember why it's so beautiful. Remember why it's so beautiful. You know, and we're going to begin some ancestral clearing, and I want to stress so importantly that you drop your shame and guilt in this moment. There just isn't the capacity to expand into deeper transformation with that. And, you know, maybe you're sitting in your space right now and you're needing to release. And so maybe you're going to scream and maybe you're going to cry and maybe you're going to just have to pause and be in sacredness for yourself. And maybe you're going to have another person witness you and maybe not.
You're welcome.
And here's the thing. It's time to unplug and begin that practice of not shaming and guilting ourselves or each other so that we can change.
Yes.
Because we're capable. And I will never stop being the fiercest advocate for you to understand that change is absolutely happening within you at every single moment. And I will never stop telling you that we are not bound by our ancestors, and we are not bound by our history, and we do not need to do it again, and we should not repeat ourselves because we have the capacity to change, and we only repeat ourselves because we don't feel we have the capacity to change, and we only repeat ourselves because we feel not strong enough, and we don't understand the tools that we have in front of us, and we don't understand the power that we have before us today, and we don't understand the potential that is before us.
Yes.
And so we feel powerless. And when you feel powerless, then you will lash out. When you feel powerless, you will create chaos. When you feel powerless, you will feel hatred within you. When you feel powerless, you will have the desire to attack. And that's normal. That's normal. But you're not powerless. You're so powerful that it makes many people scared.
Yes.
Because when you get all of this right in here, right? And I don't mean perfect, but for the most part, when you get right in there, what is potentially possible is the breakdown of distortion and negativity and perversion and evil and the things that take from us and hurt our babies and they cripple our world.
Yes.
And you take your power back.
Yes.
In all the ways. We're not the same people. We're not the same generation.
Thank you.
I love you.
Thank you.
All right, let's do some clearing work and unplug some of these things. I think some of you guys are ready. I'm going to ask that you ask to do this on behalf of your lineage. Your lineage is not only your mother and your father, it is your ancestry. It is where you come from.
Sure.
And we are going to work on the oppressor and the oppressed at the same time because those things do live within each of our lineage. Right? I have a dual lineage. And in my dual lineage, both sides have experienced the oppressor and the oppressed. I have experienced my family going through and being part of the Holocaust. I have experienced my family being part of wars. I've experienced my family as gypsies. I've experienced my other lineage in Africa, and I've experienced them in Arab countries and the Middle East. There is so much there. That's my immediate lineage. So can you imagine all of the parts of those people? We all own it. We all have it. It is within each of us. So in this moment, you already can see the unity in that moment.
Yes.
We have it. Both of it. And I do believe deeply that we all have the same capacity to oppress. And we all have the same capacity to be oppressed. We all have the same capacity to feel victimized. And this is that hard work, and it's actually hurting right in my kidneys. Our kidneys is our life force.
Yes.
The programming that has caused us to feel both victimized and oppressing. The programming. I do mean that because none of us are designed for that internally. Not really, not at soul level.
No.
There are soul groups that have designed themselves to be oppressors. There are negative energies that have designed themselves to be that. But if you're watching this, your energy and the majority of the frequency of us, the energy is not for that. And so the thing is that it has actually killed us in a way. That is actually poisoned our life force energy, our connection to everything. So I'm going to ask in this moment that we start to access, and we do this on behalf of as many as are willing and wanting and desiring for as much change and global release as we possibly can. And we place this before God, Creator, Source, the All. We place all of this guilt and the shame, and we see this burning fire in front of us, and you start to place your guilt and your shame and your grief and your anger. Whatever is coming to you from your ancestry, what is it? Is it the shame? Is it the anger? Is it I've been oppressed? Is it the victim energy that feels like you can't breathe? Is it the fact that you're so angry? Is it the fact that you're confused? Is it the fact that you don't understand or that you want to hide your past? Is it the fact that you can't believe that you come from something that feels hateful? Is it scary that you've had hatefulness within you? Are you ashamed of the fact that you don't know that there's been moments in your life where you've judged or you believed things that you see now are not true? You don't have to share it publicly. You just get to put it in the fire. I ask this to start being transmuted. There's a lot of pain in my womb space. This has been inherited generation to generation. I ask for this to be cleansed through your ancestral lines. I ask to clear the oppressor energy as much as possible. And in so doing, I'm asking for all energies and negativities, principalities that are affecting and trying to infuse that within us to be released, 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 to clear it out of your cells and your DNA. Release, 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 release. We ask to let the pain and the fear to be released, released out of your cells, your emotional, mental, subconscious, conscious, superconscious, cellular level, releasing, releasing, releasing. I ask for this to continue to be done. Yeah.
You can hold your stomach like this. You can pat, move the frequency. So your solar plexus, where we're all connected. Your subconscious is connected to this. So all the trauma and all the stuff you've ever been through in this life and other lifetimes, we're just asking. And I see my lion right here. So this lion energy, let the lion claw this shit that has been holding this space, opening it up, allowing you to release all of the judgment and all of the guilt and all the shame.
And I'm just patting my kidneys, this low back. If you're not sure where your kidneys are, low back energy area, very stuck. Lower chakras, that's your connection to the world around you, three-dimensional reality, and your ancestry. First chakra is the world around you, how you relate to your ancestry. We ask for that to be upgraded, cleared, released. We ask for cords and manipulations, programs, implants, cleared, released, release, release, release out of your cellular, your DNA. There's a lot of pain in my body right now. A lot of pain in my body. We actually have measured now scientifically that we inherit up to 14 generations. 14 generations. Woo! Hold on now. 14 generations of traumas, impacts, experiences. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So within you, within each of you, you hold those energies I was talking about. And we are starting to unravel that holding. So you have stuff to be angry about. And you have stuff to be rageful for. And you have stuff to cry for and to grieve for. And we need to protect each other's grieving. And we need to protect each other's releasing, so that it does not pour out into contagion, so that it does not attach to another person, or it is not used against us because the pain is causing us to not be able to see from the higher perspective. And Nicole spoke about confusion, because when confusion happens, too much stimulation, too much emotion, I don't know what to think, I'm not releasing, I'm not compartmentalizing my grieving, and then I'm taking my unresolved grief and I'm putting, when confusion begins, the opportunity for manipulation happens at such a high level. We are talking about solutions here in this space right now. We're not getting into the nitty-gritty of what everyone is doing and what the agendas are, and what, because I want to talk with you about solution.
Yeah.
It is my heart's mission for you to understand your power. It is my heart's mission for you to understand your sovereignty. It is my heart's mission for you to see transformation. So we talk about solution. We work solution in this space right now. I'm going to ask that you connect with your heart. And as we clear shame and guilt, and you connect your heart, taking an honest inventory of what is inside. An honest inventory of what is inside. Where do you want to avoid? Where do you not want to look? I say it again, where do you not want to look? Where do you not want to look? Where have you not wanting to look in your life at the parts of you? Don't point outside of you. Don't talk about what is going on outside of you right now. What inside of you have you not wanted to look at? Bring so much nurturing and healing, compassion, energy into your belly, into your inner child, into your heart space. We ask that you be wrapped in the mother energy, the sacred mother, Mother Earth, Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, goddess energy, just wrapping each of you in this space of deep, deep vulnerability. Deep vulnerability in this release work. Releasing this desire to be right, releasing the ego, releasing the fight just for right now, and allowing the transformation to occur, releasing the shame, and understanding that when we surrender into that vulnerability of the transformation, we allow that to come through us.
I'm going to ask you guys to shake your body out a little bit. So move your energy, because a lot of you are having pain in certain spots. And so just shake. You can kind of like shake your body like this a little bit and move the energy. I'm going to do a little breathing work with you just to push out some of the stuff. You guys are doing great. You're doing amazing, amazing, amazing work. And so we just have to do a little breathing exercise and move some of the energy out of the body. You guys are like digging stuff up. You're moving stuff. We're going to need to drink a lot of water after this. And so what we're going to do 7 rounds where we're going to take a deep breath in through our nose for like a 3 count. So it's going to look like this. And then we're going to blow out. But first we're going to exhale. So we're just going to lean forward. So we're going to go. This last one we're going to blow out slow. We're going to breathe in slow. We're going to hold it. We're going to swallow that energy all the way into your belly. Hold on a little longer, and then we're going to exhale really slow. Being in that relaxation state right now, this moment of peace, we took those deep breaths and we blew out all that stuff, knowing that you have access at every moment to releasing, and you have access to breathing in that good. You have access at every moment, right? We have shallow breath because we're full of fear. Our nervous system's full of fear. We're full of separation. We're full of this chaos energy. Somebody just said there's massive confusion energy. We denounce all those things. We denounce confusion. We denounce separation. We denounce lies and deceit. We denounce them to allow for us to bring in truth. Right? I read so many different books this morning, and every book said the same thing, right? That we are taking in wisdom and knowledge. It is like, should be the most important thing, the wisdom and knowledge, bringing in that truth, having this integrity be at the forefront of your being.
Yes.
Yeah, you are worthy. You are worthy just because. There is nothing that you can or cannot do that messes with that worthiness. You are worthy because you are this beautiful love frequency. You were created from it. You are it. You may not remember that you are in this moment. You may kind of know. Some of you really know. But coming back to that place that you're just worthy. That you're this beautiful vessel. That your frequency cannot be destroyed. You live forever. You are immortal. And that you're housing your beautiful spirit in this weird human suit that has so many different things that limit it from knowing that it's this great, awesome thing from like...
And we love that too.
We love all of it,
love
right?
Suit. Oh,
I love your human suit, girl. So we're just going to send love to each other right now. And receive that love. Sending love, receiving love. You deserve it. You deserve to receive love. You deserve to receive everything that your little heart, your big heart wants to create.
And you can't bypass that love receivership, because we can't give and do what we're not able to receive and have and house within us. So if you don't know how to receive yet, that's the work. If you don't think you're worthy, why would you think another was worthy? The fact that we've come to a place where we have allowed ourselves to be manipulated to judge and assess people by the color of their skin innately says our inability to love and receive ourselves.
Do you think that I'm worthy of love? If you think so, you can write, Nicole is worthy of love, right? And I can tell you from my experience in my life that I did not think I was worthy of love, because I was tore up from the floor up. I did things that were complete out of alignment from who I am. I was destructive. I was a liar. I was a cheater. I was a manipulator. I was a drug addict. I did all these things basically because I was, using and I was an addict. But there was all these parts of my life that I could have said, I'm not worthy. Right? And I'm here to tell you I was so worthy. And I was worthy when I was that jacked up. That's when I was most worthy of love, actually. When you are in your most jacked up state, you're actually worthy because you need that love, right? There's parts of you that don't believe that you can access that love, or you're undeserving of that love. And that's when you need it the most.
Yes.
And so I just want to say, when your family is judging you for being a little wacky, right? Because maybe you think outside the box, or calls you conspiracy theorist, or that calls you these names, or there's people that are judging you and attacking you, know that those people actually need the most love. And so you can bring it back to compassion, right? Living in that fear state, being in that fear state, that sucks, right? That really sucks, right? That judgment of self, it sucks, it's hard. And so we're just going to bring all the people that are really pissing you off right now, or that are not loving on you right now. We're going to give them love right now. We're going to say they are worthy of love. And you, my friends, all my friends, my light family, you masters of light, right? The word light is information. When we say light and love, we are talking about love frequency, and light is information. It is the wisdom and knowledge that I'm talking about. It is powerful. You are masters of information. You are masters of consciousness right now. You are worthy. You are worthy. You have access to anything and everything, all information, right? Because you're this beautiful being, and you deserve it. And so I want you to hashtag I am worthy. And you if you want to say it a couple times or a few times, I am worthy, I am worthy, I'm worthy. You are worthy. You're worthy of it all. I am worthy.
And I'm just reminding you guys, right, that it has to be this internal transformation. Has to start within us. We have to free ourselves and care for ourselves and learn to have compassion, so that that can be spread to other people, so that things can change. And you know what? It's time. The reason that I say it's a consciousness revolution is not only for all the aforementioned reasons, but because it's time for it to apply to us all. The raising of the consciousness has to apply to us all now. We have to start holding each other, not just, the spiritual community or the religious or this. There can't be these fragmented, everything that fragments us creates separation and allows for confusion, and it allows for the lack of unity, and allows for the lack of transformation, and allows for the lack of transference of information. So it's time. It's time that it just spreads. And it will spread through integrity. It will spread through internal spaces of being able to walk these realities, live and breathe these realities. So I really invite you guys, not only share this message, but to watch this over and over, to ask yourself where you can take your inventory, to share it with your friends and ask them to take their own inventory, to access how you can take some of these ideas and bring them into practice. We're not just doing this so we can have, some fun together on a Sunday or whenever you're watching this. We're doing this so that we can start to remind each other of information that then we can embody, which becomes contagious. We can have change. I will be your biggest advocate.
Yes.
I promised. For change and your capacity to do so. And our world's capacity to do so. I'm going to close this container.
Yeah.
I'm going to close this container and allow all this work to be done, unplugging you from each other, creating sacredness around this message, and allowing this message to be received by all those who are willing and desiring this. May it encircle the globe to create transformation and positivity. May all those who are here or watching this know that you are seen.
Yes.
Know that you are loved. Know that you are honored. Know that you are not discarded. Know that you matter. Know that you are loved again. And to allow for you to continue to infuse yourself with vibrations today, I'm going to ask for 100% light quotient to all of your beings. Allow for the detoxification of these pains. And this is only the tip of the iceberg. I promise we will continue to do work. And you should please, if you're not, subscribe, follow, keep your alerts on, because we're also going to be telling you guys lots of other ways that we're going to be doing work with you and getting to deeper and deeper layers of this. So you know, and we're going to be popping up and doing things like that. So please make sure that you stay within the space of our community.
We love you.
And we can only access you if you're kind of with us. So if you're new or you haven't, just follow, like, subscribe, make sure you stay connected. We love all of you guys so much.
Yes, I love you.
Share the message.
Love you, love you, love you.
Walk the walk. Integrate and let go of your shame. We love you so much.
Bye.
Bye, guys.